see, many years ago, I lay quietly in my bed. I did not rustle the sheets. I breathed slowly and silently. I was listening for a sound a friend had told me I'd never hear. The ringing bells of Santa's sleigh. A friend said, "There is no Santa," and he insisted, but I knew he was wrong. Late that night, I did hear sounds, though not of ringing bells. From outside came the sound of a hissing steam and squeaking metal. I looked through my window and saw a train standing perfectly still in front of my house. It was wrapped in an apron of steam. Snowflakes fell lightly around it. A conductor stood at the open door of one of the cars. He took a large pocket watch from his vest, then looked up at my window. I put on my slippers and robe and tipped downstairs out the door. "All aboard!" the conductor cried out. I ran up to him. "Well," he said, "are you coming?" "Where?" I asked. "Why, to the North Pole, of course. This is the Polar Express." I took his outstretched hand and he pulled me aboard. Now he's on the train.
Today I seen this right before I got here. My husband.
The train was filled with other children, all in their pajamas and nightgowns. We sang Christmas carols and had candies and rough nougat centers as white as snow. We drank hot cocoa, as thick and rich as the melted chocolate bars. Outside, the lights of the towns and villages flickered in the distance as the Polar Express raced northward. Racing northward. Oh, and our dining car is open now, so you'll be able to have your hot cocoa at the same time.
Okay.
Have hot cocoa.
Don't spill it.
What do you say?
Cookies.
We're in like a real chocolate?
Both sides of the tray.
Would you like a cookie?
Yummy?
No? Okay. No, little girl needs it and she's holding it herself.
Hot chocolate?
I like chocolate, baby. Got it?
Okay. Is it good?
You're okay. Hold your okay.
Thank
you, friend. Okay. Thank you. Would you like a cookie, honey? Would you like a cookie? Okay, here. Would you like a cookie?
There you go.
No? Would you like a cookie?
Yeah.
All right, hang on to this. Okay. I can't.
You're okay.
Spill it.
There's a dining car on the Polar Express. That's what you do. There's a place to eat.
And the bucket was big.
Hot chocolate, Mom? Hot chocolate bag.
Sure.
Take one. Yes, we have it all out here. Do I have my cookies?
Drink that chocolate drink?
Oh, no. Uh-oh, it's messed up. Oh, can you wash out the leg on your clothes? It's all right. Oh, hurry.
We have, yeah.
Do you want to stand up?
Treat it right. I love this train. You go on it again tomorrow. No Jim? Hot chocolate and cookies.
Okay, let's continue with our story. Soon there were no more lights to be seen. We traveled through cold, dark forests where lean wolves roamed and white-tailed rabbits hid from our train as it thundered through the quiet wilderness. We climbed mountains so high it seemed as if we would scrape the moon. But the Polar Express never slowed down. Faster and faster we ran along, rolling over peaks and through valleys like a car on a roller coaster. The mountains turned into hills, the hills to snow-covered plains. We crossed a barren desert of ice, the great polar ice cap. Lights appeared in the distance. They looked like the lights of a strange ocean liner sailing on a frozen sea. There, said the conductor, is the North Pole. Getting to the North Pole. The North Pole. It was a huge city standing alone at the top of the world, filled with factories where every Christmas toy was made. At first we saw no elves. They are gathering at the center of the city, the conductor told us. This is where Santa will give the first gift of Christmas. Who receives the first gift, we all asked. The conductor answered, he will choose one of you. Look, shouted one of the children, the elves. Outside we saw hundreds of elves. As our train drew closer to the center of the North Pole, we slowed to a crawl, and so crowded were the streets with Santa's helpers. When the Polar Express could go no further, we stopped and the conductor led us outside. Now they're there at the station. We pressed through the crowd to the edge of a large open circle. In front of us stood Santa's sleigh. The reindeer were excited. They pranced and they paced, ringing the silver sleigh bells that hung from their harnesses. It was a magical sound, like nothing I've ever heard. Across the circle, the elves moved apart, and Santa appeared, and the elves cheered wildly. He marched over to us and, pointing to me, said, "Let's have this fellow here." He jumped into his sleigh. The conductor handed me up. I sat on Santa's knee, and he asked, "Now, what would you like for Christmas?" Imagine how excited the boy was, sitting right next to Santa on Santa's sleigh. There he is, boy and Santa. I knew that I could have any gift I could imagine, but the thing I wanted most for Christmas was not inside Santa's giant bag. What I wanted more than anything was one silver bell from Santa's sleigh. When I asked, Santa smiled. Then he gave me a hug and told an elf to cut a bell from Santa's heart, from the reindeer's harness. The elf tossed it up to Santa. He stood holding the bell high above him and called out, "The first gift of Christmas!" And he gave that to the boy. The bell from Santa's sleigh. A clock struck midnight as the elves roared their approval. Santa handed the bell to me, and I put it in my bathrobe pocket. The conductor helped me down from the sleigh. Santa shouted out the reindeers' names and cracked his whip. His team charged forward and climbed into the air. Santa circled once above us and then disappeared in the cold, dark, polar sky.
Thank you.
As soon as we were back inside the Polar Express, the other children asked to see the bell. I reached into my pocket, but the only thing I felt was a hole. I had lost the silver ball from Santa's sleigh. "Let's hurry outside and look for it," one of the children said, but the train gave a sudden lurch and started to move. We were on our way home. Look how sad he looks. Lost the bell. It broke my heart to lose the bell. When the train reached my house, I sadly left the other children. I stood at my doorway and waved goodbye. The conductor said something from the moving train, but I couldn't hear him. "What?" I yelled out. He cupped his hands around his mouth. "Merry Christmas!" he shouted, and the Polar Express let out a loud blast from its whistle and sped away. Here's the boy watching the train. On Christmas morning, my little sister Sarah and I opened our presents. When it looked as if everything had been unwrapped, Sarah found one small box behind the tree. It had my name on it. Inside was the silver bell. There was a note. "Found this on the seat of my sleigh. Fix that hole in your pocket. Signed, Mr. C." Who do you think that was?
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus?
It's Saint Nick.
Yeah. And he signed it Mr. C for Claus. I shook the bell and made the most beautiful sound my sister and I had ever heard. But my mother said, "Oh, that's too bad." "Yes," said my father, "it's broken." When I'd shaken the bell, my parents had not heard a sound. Now, if you say no sound, now if you say believe, maybe the bell will start to ring. Okay, let's all say believe. Believe, believe, believe. No, it's still not ringing. You gotta say it louder. Believe, believe, believe. Oh, great, it worked. Okay, and now you'll have a Santa's bell. Okay, very good. Wow. That's Paula. Thank you. Kathy, Kathy's our community relations manager. Thank you. You want to get it done.
Oh, now you can hear it now, right?
Oh, yes, listen to that. You can sing jingle bells, right? Okay. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. Hey! Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride in a one-horse open sleigh. You better watch out, you better not stop, you better not, I'll be telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town. Checking it twice, wanna find out who's naughty or nice. Santa Claus is coming to town. He knows when you are sleeping. He knows if you're awake. He knows if you've been bad or good. You'll be good for goodness sake. Oh, you better watch out. You better not pout. You better not pout. I'm telling you why. Santa Claus is coming to town.
On behalf of all of us here at Barnesville, we'd like to thank you for coming and participating. If you have any questions about the book, please see Victor or Wanda.